Hello everyone, I'm Matthias, and today we're talking about Duolingo. Viewers of my channel would know that I own a position in Duolingo. It's a 7% position in my portfolio, and I see this position growing a lot bigger in the future. At the time of recording, Duolingo is trading at 151 US dollars, being down by quite a lot since their all-time highs. This steep decline in price has been caused by a lot of different narratives, especially AI being a fundamental threat to this company. In my opinion, this is a prime example of the stock market being short-term sentiment driven. The market has fears of AI disrupting Duolingo. In this video, I'm going to present the case why I believe that AI is not a headwind for Duolingo and why I believe it's a tailwind. But before we hop into my opinion, let's hear the former CFO Matthew Scarupa talking about how they leverage artificial intelligence in order to broaden the scope of subjects available and courses available on the platform.
A couple weeks ago, we announced 148 new courses, or new language pairs, really. That was not possible before generative AI. We went from having just an amazing team doing what we called content scaling. So this is
fundamentally, I believe that LLMs and artificial intelligence will aid Duolingo in their direction and in their mission. LLMs will not outcompete Duolingo due to frictionless access to information or courses. LLMs provide these frictionless access to information and courses, but frictionless access to information and courses is not what it takes to yield better learning outcomes or to create value for the end user. So if it's not a question of information and courses, what is it about? Well, it is about behavioral, contextual, individual insights gathered over years of doing A/B tests, gathering insights from billions of exercises completed every day. No one has a better dataset on learning than Duolingo. No one has better insights than Duolingo. They could become the platform or the operating system for the entire education system, with more precise measurement of student proficiency and tailoring individual content to each student, challenging them and improving their learning outcomes. I made a video about this, going into depth with this. You can watch that video where I dive into my experience with the school system and just how broken it is, and just how much friction the school system provides for teachers and for students. So it is not about having the LLM teaching you a language. The contextual and behavioral data Duolingo has, with over billions of exercises completed every day and an increasing amount of daily active users and increasing amount of users, the contextual data that Duolingo has and behavioral data Duolingo has will not only engage you or improve your learning outcomes, as it has been proven to do. I dove into this in my previous Duolingo video. But also, they will yield better user experiences. Duolingo is incredible at retaining users because of their gamification mechanics. So those are what yield exponential differentiation between Duolingo and LLMs. They have the dataset. They know what it takes to engage you. They know what it takes to challenge you. They have the best data and the best ability to employ this data. As I said, this is what yields and causes exponential differentiation, the better user experience. Learning a language on Duolingo is a much better experience than learning a language on ChatGPT, on Gemini, on all these other LLMs. Netflix is not the only streaming service, yet it is dominant. Spotify is not the only streaming service, yet it is dominant. Why is this? This is because they have tailored and they have just small improvements in terms of user experiences on their platform, so this yields exponential returns. In platform and marketplace contexts, the winner usually takes most, and doing so by a huge margin. This is unlocked by providing better user experiences. These are provided in Duolingo's context by increasing learning outcomes through gamification, individually tailored exercises based on your level of proficiency while keeping you engaged. As I mentioned, I've seen this video of Louise Von Ann saying that they know that if they give you an exercise where you have an 83% chance of doing it correctly, that is the perfect level of challenge. So you get things right most of the time. That is what keeps you engaged. That has been learned and that conclusion has been reached based on years and years of doing A/B tests, of years and years of refining the app, of refining the experience. So basically, what most people get wrong is that you cannot just code an LLM to be more engaging. You cannot just code an LLM to increase your proficiencies. You cannot just code an LLM to be gamified. You need to have a big data set in order to do this. You need to have data to train these models on. Duolingo has the data, and Duolingo uses frontier models such as ChatGPT for their paid subscriber tiers for their language conversation training, right? So they use this in their paid tiers where you can talk to Lily, where they use LLMs, so they have their massive data set, which then goes into these frontier models, so they're better able to engage with you, so they can keep you engaged. So Duolingo can do A/B tests. You cannot just code an LLM for this. You need data. You need to have this edge. And Duolingo has this data. Duolingo has this edge. Therefore, they are well positioned to gain in efficiency and to gain in app proficiency as AI models scale. So as AI models scale, Duolingo's app and Duolingo's service doesn't get worse. It scales with the scaling of AI. It scales along with AI, similar to Lemonade. So because they have this vast and broad data set, they can use this and plug it into these frontier models in order to keep your conversations engaging, in order to keep them challenging, in order for you to learn more, in order for your learning outcomes to be as high as possible. So, what you should do as an investor is don't look at price changes. Don't look at these short term price swings and upturns and downturns. You should stay focused on whether the management teams, in this case Duolingo, continues to build the platform that yield better user experiences. As I mentioned, these are what yield the exponential returns, the better and improved user experiences, not the price action, not on market sentiment. Look at the numbers, look at the DAO's growth, look at the MAO growth, look at the paid subscriber growth and paid subscription penetration growth. Look at these things in order to gauge whether Duolingo is building a better app. Look at these things in order to gauge whether the fundamentals are moving in the right direction. Look at how they integrate their learning verticals. Look at how they integrate new learning verticals. We just heard Matthew Scarupa talking about how they use AI to increase the learning verticals. If they increase the user experiences, if they yield better results for learners, then Duolingo will improve in terms of their value proposition for customers, which then in turn will improve the paid subscription penetration and paid subscriber amount, which in turn will increase your cash flows over the long term. Duolingo is a company that has very good margins. We looked at this in my previous video. Now, currently, these margins are a bit misleading because they do a lot of stock-based compensation. But when they stop doing this, when they stop compensating their workers to such a high degree through stock-based compensation, the high margins of the company will yield very good free cash flow returns for you as an investor. Do not focus on what Fintwit says. Look at the company, look at their numbers, and then get your own conclusions. In my opinion, Duolingo is building the best learning platform in the world. In my opinion, Duolingo is positioning themselves to become the assistant to every teacher and to every student in order to bridge this limit by our human intellect in terms of being able to monitor and measure the intellect of 100 different students, and also challenging and building courses tailored to these individual respective students. So this solves a lot of the friction in the current schooling system where the outcomes are just based around the average, the middle, right? So the education is tailored toward the middle section, neglecting the best students and the least well-off students. With AI, you can have a personalized learning experience tailored to each individual student. So do not focus on FinTwit, focus on the fundamentals. If you take a look at the company fundamentals, they're going in the right direction. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you next time.